Good morning. Welcome to Development Services Department hearing for April 5th, 2023. My name is Antoinette Gibbs, and I'm the hearing officer with Development Services Department. Joining us today is Deputy City Attorney Noah Brazier and Martha Blake, representing Development Services Department, Project Management Division. Now, Ms. Blake with a procedural announcement.
Thank you. Good morning. Until further notice, hearing officer meetings will be conducted pursuant to the provisions of California Government Code Section 54953A as amended by Assembly Bill 2249, which allows the public to participate in person as well as a hybrid format. Effective February 10th, 2023, the hearing officer meeting will be participating in person and the meeting will be open for in-person testimony. If you are in person, please make sure you complete a speaker slip if you wish to speak. In-person testimony will be conducted before virtual testimony begins. In lieu of in-person attendance, members of the public may participate and provide comment via telephone, Zoom, using the hearing officer web form, or via US mail of written materials to the hearing officer as noted on the webpage. The public may view the hearing officer meeting at the scheduled date and time on the City of San Diego's YouTube website, City of San Diego Public Hearings. Members of the public can offer public comment on non-agenda or an agenda item by joining the webinar, by using a desktop computer, laptop, tablet, or smartphone, by accessing the link which is listed online in the preamble language of the agenda on the hearing officer webpage, or by calling 1-669-254-5252 with webinar ID number 160-355-8740. This information is also on the agenda and will appear on the screen during the public comment period for each item. Please note that if you are watching online, there may be a 30-second delay. Please participate via audio on your phone and mute your TV or computer when it is your turn to speak. When the hearing officer introduces the item you would like to comment on, please raise your hand by either tapping the raise your hand button on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, or by dialing *9 on your phone. You will be taken in the order in which you raise your hand. You may only speak once on a particular item. When the hearing officer indicates it is your turn to speak, click the unmute prompt that will appear on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, or dial *6 on your phone. Please note those participating virtually may not cede time to others participating in person or virtually. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blake. This morning, we will be considering applications for development permits that the San Diego Municipal Code identifies for resolution by a hearing officer in accordance with a decision process 3, as referenced in section 112-0501 of the Land Development Code. The decisions made on projects today may be appealed to the Planning Commission. The appeals must be filed by the close of business within 10 business days of today's date. That means that an appeal must be filed by the close of business on Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. The appeal must be filed on the proper forms located on Development Services website. Additionally, the certification of the environmental documents may be appealed to the City Council. The appeal must also be filed within 10 business days of today's date. The appeal must be filed on the proper forms located on the City Clerk's website. All approvals will become effective 10 business days from today's date, as long as no appeals are filed. However, no building permits may be obtained until the permits and resolutions are signed, notarized, and returned to Development Services for recordation with the county recorder. Prior to today's hearing, I have reviewed all staff reports, environmental documents, draft findings and conditions, and all written correspondence, and I am familiar with each site. Just a brief reminder for those joining us remotely, please mute all mics until called upon to speak. And for those in attendance today, please be sure to fill out a speaker slip if you would like to speak on an item on today's agenda. First, is there any public comment? Is there anyone that would like to speak on an issue within the jurisdiction of the hearing officer that is not related to one of the items on today's agenda? Seeing none. Are there any requests for continuances or withdrawals? So we'll move to the consent agenda. There will be a consent agenda for projects with no speaker slips in opposition and no questions from the hearing officer. Okay, so we have 3 items on today's agenda. I have questions for item 1, and there are speakers for item 2, but I can put item 3 on consent. PRJ number 1048505, project name 3737 31st Street, tentative map. Permit number, or tentative map waiver number, PMT-313720. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against this item? Ms. Lindsay, is there any reason this item cannot be placed on the consent agenda?
Morning, Hearing Officer Gibbs. Carrie Lindsay, Development Project Manager. No, there's not.
Thank you. Thank you. Pursuant to Section 15305 of the California Environmental Quality Act, the project is exempt from environmental review, and I do recognize that exemption. The project is not pending an appeal of the environmental determination. The environmental determination was made on March 1st, 2023, and the opportunity to appeal that determination ended March 15th, 2023. I can make all the findings necessary to approve PRJ number 1048505, tentative map waiver number PMT 313720, subject to the conditions contained in the staff report. This decision is final unless called upon, unless appealed to the planning commission. Thank you. Okay, item number 1, project number 696515, Cala de la Garza, site development permit number 2579466. The city's project manager is Hector Rios. Mr. Rios, could you please provide a staff report?
Good morning, Hearing Officer Gibbs. For the record, I would like condition number 2 to be deleted, as this permit is amending permit number 1198970 and does not supersede. The phone-in testimony period is now open. Please take a moment to view the instructions displayed on how to call in, and please mute yourself until called upon. I will leave this up for a few minutes, and my last slide would also show the phone-in testimony period. If you have a telephone, dial 669-254-5252 or toll free 833-568-8864. When prompted, input webinar ID 16035588740. Good morning, Hearing Officer Gibbs and members of the public. My name is Hector Rios, and I'm the Development Project Manager for Calle de la Garza Remodel, Site Development Permit Good morning, hearing officer Gibbs and members of the public. My name is Hector Rios, and I'm the Development Project Manager for Calle de la Garza Remodel Site Development Permit Project number 696515. The project before you today requests approval of Site Development Permit number 119897. The 0.56 acre site resides in the Coastal Overlay Zone, Non-Appealable Area 2, Coastal Height Limitations, 300-foot buffer, Very High Fire Severity Zone, and Parking Impact Overlay Zone, Coastal. The site development permit is for a proposed 1,229 square foot addition, second story, a new deck, and 75 square foot addition to the first floor to an existing 7,628 square foot single family residence. 2350 Calle de la Garza is located east of La Jolla Shores Drive and is surrounded by other residential single family homes. The site plan shows the proposed 1,304 square foot addition indicated in the darkened area. DSD reviewed the proposed amendment and conducted a 15162 consistency evaluation with the previously adopted 2014 Calle de la Garza remodel MND number 341630, and it was determined that no subsequent document is required. On April 14, 2022, the La Jolla Community Planning Association voted 1501 without conditions and recommended approval of the project. On March 16, 2022, the La Jolla Shores Plan District Advisory Board voted 400 without conditions to recommend approval of the project. Staff recommends approval of site development permit number 119890. Staff, the applicant, and I are available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rios. Great presentation. Do you have any speakers that would like to speak in opposition of this project? Right online. Do you have any speakers that would like to speak in favor of this project? Has anybody been overlooked? So this concludes public testimony. I just had a question. You actually answered it, Mr. Rios, at the beginning regarding rescinding the previous permit. So you're taking that condition out, so that permit will still stand. It's just, this is an amendment to that site development permit.
Correct.
I think that was what, I think that was the only question I had. Thank you. So the condition contained in the adopted negative declaration. Adopt in the consistency determination reflects the independent judgment of the city of San Diego as lead agency. The city has determined that the proposed project is consistent with the negative declaration 341630 and would not result in new impacts. Therefore, no further documentation is required under the California Environmental Quality Act. Based on the evidence and testimony, I can make all the findings necessary to approve project number 696515, site development permit number 2579466, subject to the conditions contained in the staff report. And ensure that that condition is added. I just want to make sure that is removed.
I will.
This decision is final unless appealed to the Planning Commission. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Item number 2. just give us a moment for the next project manager to set up. Item number 2, PRJ number 1061476. Project name 3070 Reynard Way. Conditional use permit number 3160521. The city project manager is May Rowland. Ms. Rowland, could you please provide a staff report?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, hearing officer. My name is May Rowland, Development Project Manager in the Development Services Department. The phone is testimony period now is open. Please take a moment to view the instruction display on how to call in and mute yourself until called upon. I will leave this up momentarily for anyone who would wish to dial in during this meeting. Today, I will present the 3070 Reynard Way, project number 1061476. I will present this project on behalf of the Development Services Department. The 0.23 acre project site is located at 3070 Reynard Way in the commercial neighborhood 1-3 base zone within the community plan area. Here is an aerial photograph for the project site location. Project scope. The project is requesting a conditional use permit, process level 3, for a type 21 license to sell distilled spirits. The project is exempt from CEQA, and the exemption utilized is section 15301 existing facilities. Here in the site photos, the primary use of the site is a market and gas station, and currently has a CUP issued in 1978 for the gas station. The operation of an alcoholic beverage outlet within the market is allowed in the neighborhood commercial 1-3 base zone with a conditional use permit. The permittee currently possesses a type 20 ABC liquor license, which was previously confirming to allow the sale of the beer and wine only. And the permittee requesting the conditional use permit to allow the sale of distilled spirits in addition to beer and wine type 21. The Uptown Community Plan designated the site for neighborhood commercial, which is intended to provide the local convenience shopping, civic uses, and services. The Uptown Community Plan does not specifically address the sale of alcohol or alcohol beverage outlets. However, the sale of alcohol products is defined as a commercial retail use in the Land Development Code and is permitted as a limited use with approval of conditional use permit. Here in this slide, we are showing the floor plan. On the screen, we have the floor plan for the market. On the screen, we show the proposed floor plan with the existing display area for beer and wine in red, and the proposed area for distilled spirit in green. The proposed alcoholic beverage outlet at the site requires a conditional use permit because the project site does not meet the location criteria displayed and outlined the San Diego Municipal Code Section 141.0502B, including the following. Number one, within the census tract or within 600 feet of a census tract where the general crime rate exceeds the citywide average general crime rate of more than 20%. San Diego Police Department research indicate that the report crime rate in the census tract for this project location is 70.1% of the citywide average. However, the San Diego Police Department determined that the proposed alcohol beverage outlet would not be detrimental to the public health, safety, and welfare, provided several conditions are implemented, including but not limited to the limitation on the container size, sale hours, package quantities, littering, trash, lighting, and advertising. All San Diego Police Department conditions are included in the permit. Number two, within the census tract or within 600 feet of the census tract where the ratio of alcoholic beverage outlet exceed the standard established by California Business and Professional Code Section 2395.8.4, the standard set by California Business and the Professional Code Section 2395.8.4 for this census tract is for alcoholic beverage outlets. There are currently 2 active of sale licenses within this census tract, and this project, if approved, would represent the third the project meets this requirement. Number 3, in an adopted redevelopment project area, the project is not within the redevelopment project area. Number 4, within 600 of a public or private accredited school, a public park, playground, a recreational area, or church, hospital, or a San Diego County Welfare District office, and staff research indicates no such a use within 600 feet. Number 5, within 100 feet of a residentially zoned property, the project premises adjoins residentially zoned property. Therefore, is not meet this requirement. However, is discussed above, the crime rate of this census tract is 70.1%, which is below the 120% of the citywide average. Therefore, San Diego Police Department determined that the proposed alcoholic beverage outlet would not be detrimental to the public health, safety, and welfare. Staff recommendation. Staff recommended approval of a conditional use permit number 3160521. City staff are here to answer any question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rowland. First, I want to take a moment to thank those in the audience and those viewing us online for the technical difficulties we've had. So please bear with us. Do we have any speakers that would like to speak in opposition of this project? I received an email in opposition from Dominico and Giuseppini Carnini. It looks like they are at 3025. They say they're directly across the street and they oppose the CUP because they are, I think, a rehabilitation center. And they also, in this letter, they oppose it because they're a rehabilitation center and that this is not a use that would be beneficial to, I guess, patients of theirs. And then their other issue where they brought up something about a U-Haul, that there's a U-Haul operation at this facility. And so if you are listening, that for that portion of it, you can contact code enforcement if you feel that that use is not appropriate. For me, I'm just hearing the project today for the CUP. And so in listening to your issue regarding having this use directly across the street from you, the permit includes all regulations applicable to conditional use permits for alcohol sales. There is no prohibition, or it's not prohibited to be located across the street from a rehabilitation center. And so unfortunately, that is not something I can take into consideration. The applicant is meeting all the regulations that are required based on the conditions that have been included in the permit from our land development code and from the police department. So make sure that we have anybody else in opposition in case anybody joined us. Do we have any speakers in favor of the project? I have 4 speaker slips. And 3 of them are donating time. So let me read everyone's name, which I might mess up. Neelis Milan. Okay, you will be speaking because it looks like everybody's ceding their time to you. John Stanley, you're ceding your time. Silver Deco, ceding your time. And Sean Yado, ceding your time. So you get 3 minutes. You have 3 people that, is 10 minutes good or did you need 10 minutes? Okay, okay. So you come speak at the podium.
First, I'd like to thank Deputy City Attorney for announcing it. Sorry. I'd like to thank Deputy City Attorney, Hearing Officer Gibbs, and city staff, Ms. Blake, for hearing this project today. My name is Neelis Milan. I'm here to answer any questions on behalf of the applicant. I'd like to provide, if possible, we have a petition here signed by over 400 community members in support of the project. If I may, I could probably leave it here. That's okay if you guys would like to read it. Additionally, we did receive an email by the Dominico Carini from the city of San Diego, who we confirmed is not with the 3025 address rehabilitation center. We actually have a letterhead letter by the program director of the AUKA Rehabilitation Center right across the street in support of our project. And I've made several copies for you to review if you'd like. And if you have any additional questions, I will be right here. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else in favor that would like to speak? So this concludes public testimony for item number 2. So Ms. Rowland, I have a couple of questions. In no particular order.
Sure, I'm here to answer any question.
So I just want to, on condition number one, it says that this is an expansion. This is just for use. There's no expansion proposed with this, right? Because condition one says a proposed expansion of the market. There's no expansion. right?
Yeah, there is no expansion of the building, it's just the uses.
So I just like you, maybe when you, if you could revise that comment just to remove the expansion, because you're not expanding the market. Just kind of remove that. The finding, for finding 1A.
Sure, I'll
Thank
do
you.
that.
Thank you. And then also, is there a CUP for the beer and wine currently?
There is no currently a CUP for the beer and wine. There is a license type 20, but there is a CUP for a gasoline nuisance.
Thank you. So I have a question. On condition number 23 and condition number 26.
Mhm.
They both speak to advertisement. 23 says that it can be a maximum of 33% of the window may bear advertisement, but the police department prohibits advertisement.
Mhm.
So those seem to be in conflict. I'm suggesting that we remove condition 23. I don't know if that's an issue. I don't know if there are planners here to speak to that.
Yeah, we have Mr. Matthew Kessler here to speak from the planning, and also we have Mr. Benjamin McCurry to speak about this condition from the police department.
Yeah, good morning, Hearing Officer Gibbs. This is Matt Kessler, the LDR planner for the project. I can speak to that. Condition 23 comes from the limited use regulations for alcoholic beverage sales. It does not specify whether or not that advertising, is for the advertisement of alcoholic beverage in the same way that condition 26 does. However, LDR planning has no issues with removing that condition, especially taking a look at the police department conditions 26.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I'm okay with 23 staying there. Just wanted that clear. Thank you for that explanation, Mr. Kessler.
Okay.
So I don't have any further questions. I've addressed the issues, the applicant and, public in opposition regarding the use being directly across the street from this rehabilitation center or rehab center. That would not be something I could take into consideration. So pursuant to section 15301 of the California Environmental Quality Act, the project is exempt from the environmental review, and I do recognize that exemption. The project is not pending an appeal of the environmental determination. The environmental determination was made on February 21st, 2023, and the opportunity to appeal that determination ended March 6, 2023. Based on the evidence and testimony, I can make all the findings necessary to approve PRJ 61476, conditional use permit number 3160521, subject to the conditions contained in the staff report. This decision is final unless appealed to the Planning Commission. So before I conclude today's docket, as the SDSU alumni, I'd like to take a moment to thank the SDSU men's basketball team for an incredible season. Go Aztecs. So this concludes our docket for today, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, officer.